Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football. Today, of course, we're talking about our Atlanta Falcons weekly report, talking about week 3 against another NFC South rival. This time it's going to be the Carolina Panthers, but we are going to reflect on last week's tremendous win from Atlanta and preview if they can keep the momentum rolling, of course, against these Panthers. Joining me here today, as always, is co-host and, of course, co-founder here of the channel, Mr. Football himself, Vincent Turner. Vincent, first off, how you doing this afternoon on this Wednesday?
Very blessed, Mr. Landers. Ready to talk football. The Atlanta Falcons going into week 3. Prove to everyone on national television what I've been saying all preseason. They're a serious playoff team, and they even looked a little bit with some Super Bowl quality. But before we get started, how are you doing? You came back off of your wonderful vacation in Tampa, Florida. Tell
I'm
us what.
doing good. Hey, I'm doing good, Vincent. Got some great weather out there for the couple days we were there. It was a great time. All in all, had some good food and enjoyed some good company. So great to be back. Of course, got a little bit of a tan, but that's just how it rolls sometimes, man. But like I said, we were in Tampa, had a good time, but glad to be back here in the States, in Georgia, of course, talking about these Falcons. And before we talk more about this upcoming game against the Carolina Panthers, 1 o'clock kick. If you guys enjoy the episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We go live each and every single week here on the channel on Facebook, also over on YouTube. And you can also go check out our show's audio versions as well on our podcast. That's thanks to the Believe Podcast Network over there. Find us on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere else you enjoy listening to your shows. You can find us there each and every single week. So, Vincent, let's get into it. You said you heard some Super Bowl quality. You saw some of that in the Atlanta Falcons. Week 2, we saw week 1, that heartbreaking loss to Tampa. They came back strong last week against the Vikings, got that win 22-6. And we know Minnesota's got some good weapons over there overall. But what were your thoughts on the Falcons' play last week?
I thought really they should have won by more points. I thought they dominated the game. I thought they won the game at the line of scrimmage. Mr. Robinson, I'm going to call him Mr. Robinson today. If he's not the best running back right now in the National Football League, I don't know what we're watching out there. And what I liked about the Falcons, most of all, Michael Penix played a real controlled game. Remember this, no turnovers. When you don't turn the ball over at the most important position on the field, you're going to win games. In the offensive line, remember last week they only had, I think, 6 to 8 yards rushing against Tampa. And I came on here and I said, if the Falcons are going to be a team that's going to be really serious, and as I keep saying, the best talent in the division in the NFC South, they're going to have to run the football. And when you run the football, even though they didn't put up big numbers last week, Drake London had a nice game outside the fumble. People stay off Kyle Pitts. You're seeing he's being productive. I don't know how many receptions he got in 2 games, but I know he had 4. I believe he had 4 on Sunday night, and I believe he had 7 in the first game. So he's the way it's looking, he's going to have at least 70, 80 receptions on the year. But the offensive line, Jake Matthews and Chris Lynchman, y'all get an A+ from me. Then defense. Ooh-wee, can you not be happy how the defense played? We was right, Logan. The 2 first-round picks got their first sacks on the year. In the D-line, I'm not going to say how many sacks they had on the evening. I'm going to let Mr. Landers tell that today. But you cannot be more pleased with the Atlanta Falcons did on Sunday night. Now with the Carolina Panthers, I don't know what's going on over there, but right now, there's a lot of rumbling coming out of Charlotte. It's Bryce Young, the right man under position. He threw, 55 times last week for 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, and they still lost to Arizona 27-22. And I'm going to leave you with this with the Carolina Panthers. They've given up 26 points a game to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Arizona Cardinals. And they got Derrick Brown, one of the best young defensive tackles in the game, and Jace Horn. Joe Horn's baby son is one of the top DBs in the game. And I don't understand how they gave up 26. They're giving up so many points and have that type of defense. But I'm going to leave you with this with my final thoughts, Mr. Logan Landers. If the Falcons come back this Sunday, in some way, somehow lose this football game to Carolina, then I'm going to say they don't have the right man that's coaching the Falcons. Great teams, when they have an impressive win like this, and they favored in the next game against their opponent, they're supposed to win that football game. AKA what the Detroit Lions did to the Chicago Bears last week. Detroit lost their opening game to Green Bay 27-13. What did they do? They came back with their division for the Chicago Bears and railroaded them 52-21. Back to you, Mr. Landis.
Yes, sir. And we're going to look back at last week first. Like I said, the Falcons, a great 22-6 victory over the Minnesota Vikings, a team who, a lot of people have a lot of high aspirations for. Think that, if J.J. McCarthy can put it together, that they can, I don't know about being as good as last year, but still be a competitive club. And we praised JJ last week coming into this game, saying, man, he looked like a completely different player in the second half. And I remember one of the bullet points we had was we have to make him look like he did in the first half of that game. And the Falcons pretty much did that. They shut him down, Vince. Only 158 yards passing, two interceptions, 0 touchdowns. But like you said, big key here, they got 6 sacks in a ball game. We got to think probably about a quarter of the ones we had last year total in one game. So that was to a lot of Falcons fans, it was great seeing all the players get on. Pretty much, everyone sharing the wealth there. Brandon Dorless had 1.5. He did great, but a bunch of other guys had half sacks. Zach Harrison as well got into the fun 1.5 sacks. Also, they had 5 tackles for loss in addition to the 6 sacks. So they were just weren't giving Minnesota any leg room, really, any room to breathe. And that's what you were hoping for, like you mentioned, with their early draft picks, with free agency pickups, so on and so forth, that, you were hoping that this defense was going to be more aggressive, was going to get to the quarterback more, was going to get more tackles for loss, was going to shut down the running game. And that's exactly what they did. Let's just compare the running numbers. You mentioned Bijan Robinson. If he's not the top running back in the league, you find me a list of who else there is, because he did everything. We saw it in week 1. Didn't get a whole lot of running game, but he made up for it in the passing game with an electric 50-yard touchdown. But man, they got it rolling this week. 22 carries for him, 143 yards. Didn't get in the end zone, however. But Tyler Algier also, hey, we know he's a very formidable backup running back. That's what you need. And if both of them are running, if they're both running the way that a lot of Falcons fans have seen over the years, it's tough to stop. Algier, 16 carries, 78 yards. Both of them had over a 4.8 average per rush. So they were just clicking on all cylinders. And like you said, they took some of that weight off of Michael Penix. You look at his numbers, he did well. 13 of 21. That's for 135 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Was sacked 3 times, but he was a game manager, right? He didn't have to be throwing for 300-plus yards or anything crazy like that. So he managed the game really well. The Falcons' defense was great. And Vincent, one name that we did not mention, and boy, a lot's changed in 2 weeks, hasn't it, for the Falcons and their special teams unit? Mr. Younghoe Koo wasn't even at the ball game. They didn't really give a reason as to why not, but he might be packing up his name tag, putting his jersey away. Parker Romo, 5 of 5 in terms of extra field goals. He was lights out, got you 16 of the 22 points. And what a great way to debut for the club. So it seems like they've already addressed the special teams concerns that we had going into the week 2 game. Hopefully that Romo can keep it up. It's not just a one-hit wonder, but he looked great all in all. Now, I'm going to shift over to Carolina, talk about their matchup. I will say, Vincent, they're going to be a little bit more fired up this week. This is their first home game of the season out there in Carolina. So you're going to hope that, the fans are going to be there rooting them on, cheering them on for hopefully a win. But, looking at last week's game, you mentioned, my God, it was Bryce Young and not a whole lot else for the offense, right? He went 35 of 55, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, was sacked 3 times. He did as much as he could have felt like. He was chucking the ball left and right, man, because they could not get the running game going. Only 19 carries for 49 yards between pretty much the duo of Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. So they became a very much a one-trick team. Tedero McMillan out of Arizona had a great game, 6 catches for 100 yards. We knew that, coming into this year, he was going to be a really good wide receiver, but he looked great there. You mentioned, they got Jatavion Sanders got in some work as well. Hunter Renfrow had 2 touchdowns. So they do have a couple of good weapons on offense. Like you said, they really kind of came alive in the fourth quarter, scored 13 points, and they shut out Arizona. So maybe if they had a couple more minutes or if they got it started a little bit earlier, they could have won that ball game, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's how it goes sometimes. But the defense of Carolina, like I said, just let them down once again. Had only 1 sack on the day. They didn't have any. They had one interception, but like I said, you give up 27 points. And that's the thing. They stumbled out the gates, right? At halftime, it was 20-3. So the fact that they even made it somewhat of a close ball game is kind of a testament to that offense and whatnot. But the defense just let Carolina down. Once again, like I said, they got some great ball players over there. Trayvon Moering, who they got, who led them in tackles with 9. I mean, like I said, Derek Brown, who's one of the best players. He's one of the more kind of under or lesser known, just because he does play in Carolina, doesn't get a whole lot of media hype around him, but still just a force to be reckoned with. But I think Carolina is an interesting ball club because you see that they have good pieces, but they just have not been able to put it together quite yet. So I think that coming into this ball game, Falcons are riding a high. Obviously, big win over Minnesota. Like I said, if they probably should have got more points. But that's just how it goes sometimes. But I think that if they want to win this game, you have to do exactly what you did last week. You got to pressure Bryce Young, who we know can scramble a little bit. He's not, a dual threat or anything like that, but we know he is small in stature, so you got to tackle a little bit lower for him. And I think that if you can get more pressure on him, if you can force bad throws, and if the offense, like I said, if you just keep clicking, they give Michael Penix the ball a little bit more if the running game isn't going to be as formidable. But I think the Falcons should, hopefully, like you said, roll into Carolina this week, pick up another win, and improve to 2-1 on the season. If all things go according to plan, because like you said, if they don't win this ball game, then I think we're all going to be kind of scratching our heads and wondering just what went wrong, because that was the issue last year and really years past with this club, Vincent, is they would face the teams like, Carolina, where they should win these games pretty handily, but they either win by like 3 or 7, or they don't win at all. They lose the ball game. So if they want to prove to not just us talking about them, but to the rest of the Falcons fans out there that they're, they've turned a new leaf, right? That they're a brand new team, brand new demeanor. You got to go in there. You got to smack your team. You got to beat your NFC South rival. And like I said, I think that they should get the win this week, but you never know with Atlanta. That's just how it's been over the last couple of years. Vincent, let's get your final thoughts here on this matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Once again, 1 p.m. kickoff on Sunday in Carolina.
If the Atlanta Falcons loses this game to the Carolina Panthers, I'm going to stay firm on my word. They don't have the right man leading their team. This is a very talented Atlanta Falcons football team. Very strong at the quarterback position. Very strong at the running back position. Very strong at the wide receiver position. Very strong in the offensive line. And now you got the D-line getting hot now. And you're getting strong in the secondary. Let me give kudos to Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman. Got their 2 first NFL interceptions. But most of all, as you just mentioned, my final words as I give it back to you, Logan Landers. Mr. Koo, I wouldn't get too comfortable ever stepping back on the field in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Parker Romo from Peachtree City, McIntosh High School, you might have won you a job, and it might be a special year here in Atlanta. Back to you, Mr. Landers.
Yes, sir. We'll see what happens. I'm going to give my final score here. I think the Falcons offense should come alive this week, right? We saw week 1, they only put up 20 points, only got 22 in week 2. I think they're going to increase that. I think they're going to break that 30-point plateau. I'll go Atlanta Falcons 33. I'll go Carolina Panthers 17. This should be a dominant win by all means necessary, but we will see what happens on Sunday. We want to hear your thoughts in the comments and your final scores as well. See how the Falcons do in week 3. Well, for my co-host and co-founder here of the channel, Mr. Football Vince Turner, always a pleasure talking with you here, talking about these Atlanta Falcons like we do each and every single week. Let's give you like the show, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go download our show on our podcast networks along with Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever else. And until next week, we'll see you again on the Atlanta Falcons Week 4 report. Go Birds! And we'll see how they do this upcoming weekend. Talk